Hi folks, it's John from lastchanceautorestore.com. I'd like to share with you another update. This is the 1968 Pontiac Firebird. In an earlier video we shared with you where the full frame or the custom frame that was built and where they had the mounting locations for the suspension and for the engine mounts were in an incorrect location. So if the camera person come a little bit closer, I'm not sure about the lighting, so we'll just kind of shine this light on. Hopefully it's not too much of a reflection. So what we've done, if you recall in the earlier video, we had a straight edge going across and we had different measurements all over. We had, I think it was 14 and 9/16 from the front of this custom frame on the passenger side to where the mounting point was for the suspension. But on this side, it's 14 and a half. And then where they had welded the mounts on, the extensions I should say, for the engine mounts, they were near the back and it wasn't really the way it should be. And then we didn't have the wheelbase correct either. So what we've done now, as you can obviously see, we didn't hurt the frame at all. So the guys were really careful and they removed all of the welds that were done. So they didn't gouge into the metal. Didn't do anything to hurt the frame because it's a nice custom frame that's been built. So now we have these donor fenders. So they're just doing a basic mock-up. So this is an old radiator surround that we had from another Firebird that we restored. Same thing with these fenders. There's lots of body filler and stuff in them. These were original in teal and they've been painted black. So the reason why we have these fenders is just to do the mock-up to get an idea for wheelbase and to line things up. And the other reason why we have these fenders on is you can see we have the custom firewall that the other shop made, but there's no mounting points. So down, if you follow the firewall down, you can see they've got a positive battery terminal there, but they cut the brackets off. So you can see the end of the rocker panel, which is the very bottom of the firewall, that's all been torched off of there. And then the fenders that came with this car, the red or maroon colored fenders, they were all cut out where this mounting point is here. You can see this is the donor fender for now, but where the hinges for the hood mount to this part of the fender, they cut out. So there's no way to get a reference mark, because what we want to do, as we mentioned in an earlier video, we want to be able to bring the wheelbase back to where it should be so that the front tires are centered with the fenders. We'll get the suspension lined up properly, and then we're going to have correct mounting points, because right now with this custom firewall there's absolutely no place to fasten, and I think you can get an idea if I shine the light over here, if the camera person stays there. So you can see down in this area here, that's all been torched away from the rocker panel, and there's no fastening points for the fenders, both the inner and outer fenders. So we don't like that. The other thing we don't like is the rocker panels. They're just kind of stitch welded and tacked together. So on the Camaros and the Firebirds, they require a real inner and outer rocker panel. So we just got a shipment in of a bunch of steel, and sorry, I should have had this all organized. So this is what is missing or lacking on this car. So previously what they did, you can see what we were looking at before was the end of this rocker panel. So this important bracket, this is a strengthening point, but it's also a mounting point for the inner and outer fenders. This is the rocker panel itself. So we've got both inner and outer. So this is the inner rocker panel. So we've got two new inners and two new outer rocker panels. We've got two, pardon me, of the inner fenders that we're going to have, and then we've got the new replacement front rad support. So I should have laid them out properly just to show you everything, but essentially what we've got is a lot of missing components. So the rocker panels weren't repaired properly. They're just tack welded with a bunch of little bubblegum welds. So what we'll end up doing is we're going to square up the body. We're going to cut out the homemade inner rocker panel. We're going to remove the outer rocker panels. We're going to fill in or put these in place. They'll have the proper brackets and the strength that we need. And then once these rocker panels are installed, then we'll have mounting points for the inner and outer fenders. So We're up for a lot of work in the next week or so. Just wanted to basically share with you, excuse me, to do things right, you do have to do a mock-up and square it up, and I think that's probably why this project stood still for so long, because there's difficulty with, there's no way to attach the hood, there's no way to attach in our fenders, and there's no real way to, unless you made homemade brackets, to attach the fender. But now that we have everything kind of cleared out of the way, we'll use these old parts just to do the mock-up and to get the distance and the measurements that we need. Once we have this all in place, then we'll get the new brackets for the front suspension, and there'll be lots of progress from that point on. So this is just a basic update. This is the 1968 Pontiac Firebird. I thank you for watching. I'm John from lastchanceautorestore.com.